Wings of the Eagle exists to unify and help everyone through the three great controversies of our time: the end-time scriptures, Israel, and the unseen realm. Whatever UFOs or UAPs are, and whoever is behind them, is somehow a part of this unseen world. So we are committed to learning and educating as many as possible about what is really happening. The only way we can do this is together. Please give whatever you can now at wingsoftheeagle.com/donate. All right, hey everybody, welcome back to Unsealed, the official podcast of Wings of the Eagle. Christopher Manti is me, as always, and you are you, I hope. And so today, I just want to get right to it. It's all of a sudden hoodie weather has shown up in my part of the country, so get comfy, and I'm going to do what I'm led to do. And I don't often, talk about my credentials or lack thereof in terms of what I do for a living. But this is it. I'm a pastor, and I do it in the digital space. And I've done podcasts now about a year and a half on the UFO topic. Most weeks, not every week, but a lot, because there's so much to it. And there's so much content that you can talk about, and so many new and interesting people, and new ground to cover, and history to learn, and maybe unlearn and relearn. And so often I come back to the fact of what I've been called to do, which is minister to the church, to Christians. And most of us don't have a clue about this topic. We just don't. Whether we don't want to have it, or we consign it to Crazyville, or you just don't know what to think, or you think it's demonic, so you don't want to deal with it, or whatever. There's a dozen different reasons why. But even just putting this show together, just putting this, spreading the word about this right before I came on here. By the way, if you're listening on Spotify and all that, I love you so very much, and thank you for sharing this. By the way, if you're watching it live, please share this right now, even if you're not. Really helpful, especially on YouTube and the X platform. Super awesome. Thank you. We are available and being watched right now on Instagram and Facebook as well, so welcome to all y'all. But please share and subscribe and all that stuff. I feel a deep burden to help especially in the church setting. As I titled this, and like I was just saying, I interrupted myself while I was spreading the word about this topic today on Facebook. I got an immediate 2 reactions. It's probably more now. Comments from folks I don't hear from. Very rarely. And one was very happy that I put this out. Like, thank God somebody's doing it, which is great. Another one basically is saying there's stigma, like people think this is kooky. What do I do? Well, number one, I've set up a forum. You can contact me any way you want. You can go to the X platform at Manti4. You see it if you're watching a video, MANTEI4. Private message me there. You can email if you want, Christopher at wingsoftheeagle.com. But even if you do that, I'm going to probably just refer you over to a form I just put up with all the relevant information. I'll show you that and walk through it. Again, my heart on this is I want to talk to somebody. It doesn't have to be me. I wish there was 1,000 people doing this around my country only. And then not to say nothing of the rest of the world. There needs to be hundreds or thousands of people doing this, but there's not. I will put myself out there as a volunteer. Somebody needs to talk to your church or your group or your conference, or go on the podcast that you listen to, or you participate in, or maybe you host it, or a space on X, or whatever. Someone's got to give this view and tell people, even if it's rudimentary, elementary, bottom line, foundations, laying the foundations of what actually is happening. What is true? What is the real history on this? What is the government really doing? What do we really know? What is this UFO phenomenon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I will put myself out there. If you don't know anyone, or you're not comfortable with it, I will come to your church. I will come to your group. I don't care if it's in your house. It doesn't matter. If you need libraries, whatever, any group, any conference on any topic, whether it's a Christian conference, a prophecy conference, UFO conference, I don't care. Or if you have a podcast or a space or whatever, I will come on it. I almost can guarantee my view will be unique. You will not get many folks who are in my position. Why don't you think folks today? I don't usually have that in my vocabulary. Anyways, I do offer a unique perspective, because not many are like me. It's just a fact. Not many in my profession, in my line of work, in my belief system care about this, and certainly not educated about it. No offense to everybody. But I've given myself over, and my research partner can tell you, and some of our awesome regular viewers and listeners who are here right now, 2 of them I see, blessings to you both. You can tell you I've gone headlong into this. Yes, it's been a lifelong interest. Yes, I've had ebbs and flows of, reading and looking into stuff and being more or less involved. But since David Grush in July last year, I've gone headlong into this, because it is now a all or nothing situation. Either this stuff is true or it's not. And if it is true, what does it mean? Okay, first I want to pull. Hey, guys, I see. Hey, there's, I believe that's Pastor Randy, chiming in on Facebook as Iron Faith. I would guess that it's Pastor Randy. If not, let me know. Hang on one sec. I'll get right to you. Okay. I just want to show everyone the form we put up. Which is here. And sorry for the audio people again. Get a decent. That's pretty good. Okay. There's the link is in the description of this video. Hey, Pastor Randy. Welcome, brother. Thank you, man. The link is in the description no matter where you're watching this. If you need it, just send me a message. I will get it to you, but it's right in the description. It's at wingsoftheeagle.com/invite Pastor Manti to talk about UFOs. There it is. Invite Pastor Christopher Manti to speak to your church, small group, conference, or podcast about UFOs. I require your name and email so I know how to get back to you. First and last name, email, phone number, or messenger app. That's not required, but it would be nice. How to contact you other than email. And then the key part of it right there, in person or virtual. I volunteer myself at no fee, no speaking fee. All I ask is that you cover my expenses to get there. All expenses related to that travel, pay those. That's all I ask. Okay, so I don't care where you are. If you're in India and you want me to come speak on this, I will do it, but you got to pay for it. Okay, get me there, get me home, all the expenses related, or maybe if it's, an hour away, fine. Hit the gas can or whatever. Or virtually. I could do it virtually as well. Whether it be Zoom or StreamYard or whatever, your format of choice, doesn't matter. If you have a date, so pick one of those. If you have a date in mind already, you can pick that. See right there in the drop downs, pick the month and the date. And if it's not this year, whatever. Any other details or questions for me, type it in that big old box. Again, none of this is required except for your name and email, but I would appreciate you filling out all of it. And then if you think, this is worth it, and even though he's not charging a fee, I'm gonna throw something his way anyway. Be blessed by that. Just hit below. You can hit $50, $100, or fill in under that any amount you want. And you can do it right with the form. Just putting it out there. Kind of doubt anyone will use that, but there it is. Okay, so that's the form. Please submit that as soon as possible. Please. Okay. Good evening. Well, it is evening by our brother in India. Good evening, brother. Most church folks think the topics of UFOs is loony or kooky. Yes, many do. Sadly, this is the case in mainline Christianity as well as non-denominational Christianity. Yes, we have made the decision as a group to mock and ridicule along with the rest of the world, or think this is crazy or whatever. Well, guess what? Some of us Christians have seen UFOs. Legit. Okay, not made it up. Didn't misunderstand an airplane or a bird or swamp gas or Venus. Legit. Some of us Christians, not me personally, but some of us have been going through what you would call the abduction experience. So this is not a joke. Hi, bondservant. Okay, there's Pastor Randy. Is this strictly about government lying to us? No, but it can be if that's what you want me to speak on. Does this have biblical implications or just government deceit? Both. Both. Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah, nice. That's an old National Enquirer magazine or newspaper tabloid line. Nice. It could be whatever you want me to speak on, I'll speak on. But yes, it is both. Of course it does. Yep. I have a lot of thoughts. Okay. I have theories. I have hypotheses. I'm working, if you care, not that anyone does, but I'm working on a hypothesis that would connect all that stuff. And why it is super critical that we not be ignorant. And yes, it's all in the Bible, because anything worth telling us, God has done that. Anything we need to know. He's like the government, but a good one. The reliable one who doesn't lie. Okay. And really does care about our best interest all the time. Anyways, so that's fine. Whatever you want, whatever angle you want to pursue, I can do that. I can present on that, whether it's the history of it, whether it's the governmental side, whether it's these scriptural admonitions, or is it demons? Is it, fallen angels doing this? Is it some kind of other form of life? Is it all that whole discussion? I'm fine. Anything, any angle you want. But yes, there's biblical implications for sure. I'm working on a hypothesis. I'm not comfortable publicizing it at this point because I have to flesh it out. It's not significantly fleshed out yet, but eventually I'll present that. That's just one man's opinion at the end of the day. It's part of the issue is many folks who look into this topic for whatever reason, because it's human nature, probably, I've already decided they know what it is. They know what it is. They know what they want. They know what the phenomenon, who's behind it, and they know exactly what it is, and they're not moving, which is silly, okay, to say the least. And you can fill in whatever opinion you want in there, and it's true regardless of what your opinion of it all is. You just say, oh, well, that's all it is. I know it, and I'm closed-minded to everything else, then you're kind of a fool. That's a foolish attitude. Let's put it that way. It's a very foolish attitude. say, I know what this is. It wouldn't be a worldwide, global thing. We don't even know how to describe it other than a phenomenon, if it was so easily explained, and it's not. I wish it were easy. So, okay, I just want to put that out there. I volunteer to do this. I will go wherever you need me to go. I will go. Just reimburse me. Preferably pay before, but I know that's weird to some folks. But I can't afford to travel anywhere right now, so you're going to have to do that. Don't know if you answered my question somehow. I lost you. Okay, well, let's try again. Yes, it's about biblical implications. Yes, it's about government deceit. It's about both of those things. It's about more than that. It's about what we would call supernatural events, miracles. You know, some people, one man's miracles, the next man's high technology. Any and all of that. If you want me to speak on just one particular aspect, whether it be just the history of it, or you know, the governmental side, which is still happening, right? I just went to hearing last week, literally 8 days ago, and we just had a Senate hearing, 2 days ago. So like, this is actually unfolding still. No, it's real history. It's real time. So if you just want to hear about that, you just want to hear about one particular angle, that's fine. I don't care. I'll talk about what you if you're a church leader, if you're a pastor like Randy, you think my people need to hear about this aspect, great. My format would probably be what I've normally done, but it doesn't have to be this way. But I'm comfortable with presenting something, depending on what angle you want to take. I'll present on that and then open it for questions for however long I'm allowed to be there. That's my idea. With the caveat that no, I don't know everything. So I'm not going to have all the answers, but it's good to have the conversation. Come, let us reason together, right? So, yeah, it has been, like Randy's saying, it's been going on for years and years and years. It has. And we're not talking about it for years and years and years. We just think like that's some other realm or topic that has nothing to do with our Christianity. Well, that's not true. Dr. Michael Heiser, God bless his soul, God rest his soul. He's no longer here. He's with the Lord, but he was unique, and he became very popular for the very simple stand that he took, which is, I'm going to be a Christian, unapologetic Bible scholar, nerd, who goes to UFO conferences and talks about the craziest, weirdest stuff in the Bible and not apologize for that. And I'm not going to either. I think it's a great example. So we need, 100 Michael Heisers right now. You don't have to be smart like him. No one's going to be smart like him. Certainly I'm not. But that attitude and that level of, yeah, I know the history of it. I know the lore such that it is, okay? And I know the evidence, and I know this is stuff. Some things are old stories, but they get confirmed over time. Very well confirmed. Maybe decades later, but all of a sudden, I thought that didn't happen, or that was a hoax, or that was exaggerated, and all of a sudden it wasn't. Anyway, so I just want to put myself out there to be hopefully one of many. I want to be on your show. I want to talk about this. You don't have to be Christians. I'll go on the pagan news network. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Really. Randy says, I'm more interested in the biblical implications. The government has lied to us forever. Well, that's no doubt about that. Okay. So tell me what you need, or what you, again, it could be the whole church. It could be a small group. It could be, somebody, a half dozen people in a house. I don't care. There is definitely something up with this. We need to know the truth. Yeah, that's right, Bond Servant. Amen. Can you and I do a live stream? Of course. Yes. But the idea of this is not to do this. This is one to many. I want the goal of this is for people to feel comfortable in a small setting. Just us. Okay, whether it be 100 or 200 people in a church, or a couple dozen, or even before a conference or whatever, you can go after the presentation and do Q&As in private or in the room type of, you know what I mean? So I would always do live streams with you, Pastor, no problem. But the point of this is we need more intimate connections. That's just what I'm feeling. You would in the room, people, right? You can do it virtually, but even though like virtually is part of the form, what I mean by that is we can't organize for you to come out to us, but we have a group who wants to hear from you. Zoom in to our group, and we'll do it like that. Because this podcast, what I'm doing now, is fulfilling kind of what you're asking, I think, Randy. Right? I always try to do people's questions, and if I have a little something to talk about or present or show someone, this what I do every week, I think fulfills that. If folks in Iron Faith or whatever want to check out my podcast and interact that day, fantastic. There's no need to do anything different for that. Bond Servant says, what's interesting in churches, those who believe in supernatural things dismiss the UFO thing, wanting us to believe really weird stuff, ignoring actual evidence about this, and the government is in on it. Yeah, that is a funny thing, isn't it? It is kind of funny. Like virgin birth, Elijah doing crazy miracles, Jesus rising from the dead, Paul, the apostles, whatever. No problem. That's obviously, we believe that. But stuff that you can't explain in your time must be kooky. Isn't this like Acts 2? Like you're seeing an actual miracle happen. You even they hear the voice of God or at some point, but like Acts, like they're speaking in your own tongues, your own, mother language. And how could they do that? These are all Galileans. It's some people are saying something's going on here and this is real. But even ones who are hearing it, some of them are in denial, right? They say, nah, they're just full of wine. What? They're like randomly getting your language correct. Even they don't know it because they're drunk. That's like a debunker. Right? That's like a church attitude. I can't be real. Like that didn't happen. That video is not right. It's obviously fake. Your story's made up. You don't know what you're talking about. You didn't see that over the New Jersey Turnpike. It must have been something regular. That you didn't get abducted for sure. Because that can't happen. It's really helpful to read the history of this and to see actual super smart scientists come to the conclusion of basically the same thing, which is I can't explain it, therefore it doesn't exist. Now, talk about pride and hubris and insanity. Because I can't explain it right now satisfactorily to me, it can't possibly be real. How does God look at that? Anyway, yes. So it is a disconnect. It is a disconnect, and I would really be concerned about those folks in churches who are obviously, look, if you don't believe in the virgin birth and the resurrection of Jesus, you're not a Christian. You're not. So yeah, you have to believe that to be a follower of Jesus and be called a Christian. Yeah, of course. But I think a lot of folks are saying, oh yeah, I believe that. They think they believe it, but I don't think they really do, because if they ever are presented with such a thing in front of their face, not in a book, but in some right there, how do you know that? I'm not convinced that they'll accept that that's legit. Right? Like the Pharisees, they saw stuff and they just didn't accept it. Couldn't be from God. Got to be from the devil. I mean, that's where we're at, right? Anyway, so yes, I'm concerned about folks who say they're all cool with the supernatural stuff, but something they can't explain isn't right in front of their face. They're in denial. So anyway, we need to be educated about it. We need to talk about it together. This is the idea behind the UAP Council site that I put up. Just the idea of that is church leaders. Look, I'm a concerned, pastor, elder, or a denominational leader, or whatever, and my people need to be ready for this. Even now, but looking forward, if some giant UFO event happens some way or another, we have not ever talked about this for 2,000 years. So what are they going to say? How are they going to react? How's their faith going to be? All that stuff. And we got emergency right outside the window here. Bond Servant, even claimed events today expected to be believed just because an anointed one says so. Here we actually have proof from non-Christians and Christian. You're right. There's a disconnect. Yeah. Yep. And it's not a good one. And I mean, I've heard it all, friends. I've heard it all. Because I'm not rejecting UFO stories as all false or all American tech, which is a really, really, really lame one, honestly. But if I don't accept that, then my discernment is broken. I don't have discernment because I believe this particular story or video is legit and it's not readily explainable. And by the way, nothing has to be explainable in our current view. If your current worldview doesn't allow for whatever UFOs are, let's say, for the sake of argument, that they are physical craft for a purpose, some kind of purpose. They can go in space, in the sky, under the water, even into solid objects. So there's something different about them. If you don't believe, if you believe they're there, okay, there's something. We got to talk about that. Just because you can't explain how it works doesn't mean you don't believe they're real. I don't know how a metallic-looking orb just hung over my car in the New Jersey Turnpike and didn't move, and then all of a sudden was gone. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't have to know. I know it was there. And that's just one of many, 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 many aspects of this. There may be a connection to poltergeist activity. There may be a connection to let's just say more things that are considered supernatural that, I mean, I'm not saying they're not, but let's just say people have experienced connections. In one century would have been called this, another century would have been called that. Maybe it's the same event or the same type of thing or entities, whatever. Pastor Rain says, I'm open. Nothing is impossible with God. That's quote, right? Scripture quote. I'm wondering why he would use UFOs if he is. If he personally uses them, well, because he wants to. but it's not like, let's say the craft or whatever you want to call it in Ezekiel that he was on. He was on something. He was sitting on something and it moved and it went all different directions. Call it what you want. That's not unidentified to God. So it's not a UFO to him. It's his chariot, right? He would call his chariot. And maybe his chariot, for example, might have many properties or aspects to it that we can't explain with our current level of science or understanding. How could it be there and yet disappear? How could it move in those directions, all four at once, wherever they wanted to go? They went on a dime, right? I'm just talking about Ezekiel right there. But like, right? Why wouldn't you use that? I mean, I don't know. The problem many times comes from we are assigning, we're compartmentalizing, we're making different rooms in our brain or in our mind about how the universe is or how the world is, and we can't ever think they're the same. We've told ourselves that UFOs, quote unquote, are alien spaceships, and that's all they are. So God can't do that. Even though we say he can do anything, but we really say no, he can't. That's not for. Why would God need that? Right? You see what I'm saying? And the opposite. They're saying, oh well, I see this craft or this thing or this entity, and they're behaving in some kind of way. They don't look like anything I've ever seen, and they're doing stuff that I can't explain. It must be an alien from outer space. I'm saying, wait a minute, it might be demonic. You might be getting deceived by some spiritual entity, for example. And that's not necessarily false or true either. But the point is, we make different compartments. So we can't ever cross that line. Oh, I decided religion is bogus, so it can't possibly be demons. That is what we're talking about. Anyway, so there's tons of angles. I don't want to repeat myself anymore. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I want to put myself out there. And in fact, somebody just yesterday said, maybe she's watching, and if so, she'll make herself known here. But she sent me a link to a YouTube about the congressional hearing last week. Because I guess she saw, I've been posting certain things on it periodically. But I'm like, yeah, I was there, dude. I know. I was in the overflow room down the hall. Excuse me. And then the reaction was like, oh, well, wait, let me see. I'm not going to give anything away for privacy's sake, but it was an impactful reaction. Good gravy. It locked me out. Hang on. Nothing like a little live television. Okay. I said I would love to connect with church groups or catch everyone up with what's really going on. So that's kind of what I'm saying today. And the response was, well, I hope you can do that. Well, I can't do that. I have to be invited. No one's listening anymore. You're shutting it off. Even Christian people who love my teaching on Israel or something, when the UFO topic comes up, they turn it off. I'm only the end times guy. I'm not the UFO guy. This is nonsense. I'm going off the rails. I don't understand all that. I've heard of that over and over and over. Sorry, it's the same world. Same reality. So anyway, the point is, you have to invite me, okay? I'm not going to just show up. I don't know. If God tells me specifically to do something, I'll do it. Like, be here on this day and this time, and I'm going to give you the money to do it, so just go. Okay. I hope I'm obedient enough to do that, but chances are that's not going to happen most times. You're going to have to listen to, if you're a Christian, you're going to have to listen to the Holy Spirit in you. Say, hey, I got to reach out and invite this guy to my church or to my group or do a Zoom to my house or whatever. You have to initiate that. You do. You have to invite me on your spaces, okay? Everyone's doing spaces now several times a week. Well, if you want other opinions, you got to ask for them. Or if you want to expand the conversation, or maybe somebody will get something out of it. Maybe I'm going to learn. I learn stuff all the time. I learn new stuff all the time from non-believers who don't know I exist. And maybe even hate that I exist. Maybe even despise the fact that there's a Christian on X who's into this stuff. They're there, believe me. But I learn from them too. Because education and facts are not dependent on what you believe. No matter what, if you're right with God or not, you can still learn facts and educate others. So, okay, it's on you now. I am volunteering to do it, but you have to do this. You have to be a part. You have to invite me. I want to talk to your church group, small group, your conference, your podcast, your space about this topic. I want to add a unique voice to it. I want to maybe educate you from the ground up. My guys know nothing about this. I need to give me a 30-minute or whatever primer, or give me the foundations. Yeah, I did a 2-hour foundational presentation. We could do that anytime. Anyway, it's on you now. So do something. I volunteer, but you got to reach out. Fill out the form. Again, the link is below, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, or the X. Just fill it out. Or reach out to me. Bondservant, before we go, I personally can't dismiss this because the claim we have retrieved craft, etc. I need to know. Yep. Right. That changes a lot, doesn't it? You can say, well, these people have stories and these people have questions, or I think it's this or that or the other thing. Well, it's fine if it's just all theories and stories. But if there's actually something physical, we have actual stuff that fell from the sky and we didn't make. We human beings, okay, we governments of the world that we know of didn't make this stuff. Somebody else made it. And it's a physical craft. It's not a spiritual craft. It's not a demon. It's an actual lump of metal or whatever. That will change many people's thinkings, won't it? And yes, there's more than just claim from one person that we've retrieved. There are many, 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 40 that apparently are out there now in the government who are under NDAs who say this is absolutely a fact. And private contractors, right, like Lockheed Martin, et cetera, have the stuff. And it's a whole history on it. And they're still trying to this day to reverse engineer it and to use it for God knows what purpose. Okay, well, fine. Now that establishes a fact. Oh my gosh, there is stuff that we didn't make that we actually have, physical things. There's no demons inside. It's just a hunk of material. There's that. And now what are we doing with it? Why are we trying to exploit it? Why are we trying to reverse engineer it? For weapons? Is that all this is about? We want to kill other humans? Is it weapons to defend against other guys who are in these crafts? Maybe we think there's an invasion coming. Maybe we just want to figure out so we can get unlimited energy so we don't have to worry about oil anymore. Or improve our world somehow, or make, high technology to solve this problem, or make this easier for people. I don't know. But all those things are going to have to come out if it's true. I'll do it for $3.99 for you, Pastor Randy. Just feed me lunch. Okay? That's it. That's easy. Fired faith is easy. Or heck, go to Pastor Randy's house. The whole church is not going to want to hear it. Maybe, I don't know. Or it's not worth using that whole building. Let's go to somebody's house and do it. Whatever. Just tell me. We get the folks together, get a date and time, and then we'll do it. Okay. Could the UFO situation relate to Revelation? I think it could. Yeah. And I know there's a traditional way of applying that to the final judgments and things like that. There's a very negative connotation to that, maybe. And thinking about the trumpet and the vials and all that stuff and demons and all kinds of supernatural stuff happening could be a part of that anyways. And who's to say we know, if you own a weapon, if you own a gun in your house, if you own a handgun, is that a good or evil device? Oh, you say it depends on the user. Or a car. Car can be a deadly weapon. Or it can be a great mode of transport. Or it can keep you safe. Or it can injure. Depends on the driver. Depends on what happens with the car. Right? UFOs could just be that. UFOs could just be the car. Or the gun. It's the intent of the intelligence behind it. That's the question. That's the even greater question. Okay, oh my gosh, now we have this stuff. Who the heck made it? Who's using it? What do they want? Is there more than one they? Is there a good version and a bad version? Do they both use them? What kind of intelligence are we talking about? Are these the angels of the Bible, or are these other creatures from either somewhere else in the universe or some other dimension that's in our Earth? Or maybe they're in the Earth, or maybe they live here. And they try to keep, themselves out of our hair. Who knows? Could be all of that stuff. Yeah, no problem, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. Bondservant, do you know what happened in New Jersey the other day? Yeah, I saw that. And in fact, New York City yesterday, there was New York City yesterday, I saw there was just a local news feed. They kind of have this helicopter view of the city, or the Hudson River. I grew up in New York City watching local news that everyone has that shot. Okay. Their news chopper, traffic chopper, or getting the great picture of the Hudson and the downtown Manhattan or whatever. And yesterday there's this orb, right? As the last couple seconds of the shot comes down and then straight, zips right past the camera. And people say that's a smudge, or that's it's zoomy. There are boats moving in the river. You can see it. They're kind of piddling along, and this thing is. Anyway, that was yesterday, and in New Jersey, yeah, this is. I think was it Morristown? Not too far from where I grew up, actually. Yeah, they're saying they were large drones. I don't know, man. I saw lights. I saw one picture of. It kind of looked like your typical, but it's at night, so you couldn't tell what it was exactly. But it was kind of sort of like a drone with a light on the corners, but I didn't hear anything. I want something with sound, so I could. If you hear, drones make a lot of noise. If it's a typical thing you buy in the store, or even military drones, they're loud. You can hear a buzz. When President Biden and those dignitaries from the other countries were here, literally right across the street from me what was that, a month and a half ago? They had 2 drones, and they were small. I mean, they're probably yay big. One was across the street in the football fields. It was a couple hundred yards from me. You could hear it just fine from my front door. I mean, it was loud. And so everyone says drones, or now that the term is UAS. Come on, man. This is just a way to make people feel better. Look, if they're not the drones with the look like little helicopters, think again. Anyway, that's what happened in Jersey. There's 4 or 5 or whatever, multiple hanging over this town, and of course, FAA says it's not ours. There was no planes. We didn't have any helicopters. There was a military base nearby. It says not ours. You're not supposed to fly around here. By the way, it's illegal. Well, then shoot them. Of course, no one does anything, right? So it's a mystery. Folks said no sound. There you go. Seem like triangles. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Because drones usually have 4 corners, and that's what keeps them up with those 4 little propellers. 3? Okay. And they were described as large. And obviously, the larger a drone is, the harder it is to get it off the ground because of this thing called gravity and lift. And the propellers have got to be really big and the motors really loud. So you would definitely hear a large drone with propellers, especially if there's more than one in the same place, which the video I saw definitely had more than one in the same place. So, okay. Yeah. It's happening all around us, and we got to talk about it. That's the point. So talk to your church, group, or podcast or space about UFOs. I will volunteer to do this. Just fill out the form. Let me know where to be. If you need me to travel there, I will. You just got to pay for the expenses, or if it's a Zoom call to your house or whatever else. Okay, I've said enough about this. It's on you now. Okay, that's what this episode has been about. I appreciate your indulgence. Please pray for what we're doing here. Pray we can continue into the new year. I just don't know if we can, honestly. But I'm going to try until there's no hope left. So support us if you can. wingsoftheeagle.com/donate. Give whatever you can, please. Much, much, much appreciated. And till next time, Lord willing, maybe next week for sure we will not be here. I'll be out of the country. Vacation. Thank the Lord. And then after that in December, should be back. Okay? Again, thanks so much for putting up with me. Give if you can. Share this, please. And we'll be back next time. This is Wings of the Eagle, Unsealed, the official podcast. Fill out the form and talk to you then. Bye.